Okay, we only have 31 minutes of time on this, and I want to... Alright, maybe I should delete some videos. So, David Barnes asked a very good question about what kind, these types of questions. You can't make a blanket statement. Case by case issues. Each individual on his own should try to figure out, what kind of approach he has to these types of questions. The question of wearing a beard. It's a very difficult question. When I was younger, and I don't trim my beard, I haven't for, I don't know, over 15 years. But this question of growing a beard, now we know by Hasidim it's a very big Inyan. They say when you cut your beard, you're cutting the tzinoros, the pipes of holiness. And, there's an opinion which is not based in anything in Chazal, and it really should be rejected, but the godless of who the Tzemach Tzedek was, I'm afraid to say that, but at least we could say it's a Das Yochid, but it's a Rezaya Das Yochid, is that even trimming the beard could be a shaila according to the Tzemach Tzedek of Loi Silbash, it's a derech isha, that it's following like the way of women. We saw such things even like maskilim in their books. They would write stories about, I think, like Shalom Aleichem. He wrote a story like about maskilim coming to, Erez Zayin Gevena Maskil, but they came to a Hamish shtetl, and so it's a Gevena Maskil on a board, and they said they thought maybe it was a woman in drag, maybe like, they had a Havamina like that. So it's, now on one hand, certainly it's a good religious devotion to have a beard. And obviously, like you said, you're aware of the halachas, that halachically speaking, as long as you're not using a lift and cut, you can use an electric razor and take off the beard, or trim the beard, or take scissors and trim the beard. It's only an Inyan al pi Kabbalah and al pi Chasidus to have a full beard, more or less. Not really a halachic issue the way that the Tzemach Tzedek claims it is. We know the Chofetz Chaim held that people should have full beards, and the Chazon Ish, so it wasn't only Hasidim, literature oilam also, and the Ben Ish Chai was very famous that he held. I think he put someone in Cherem for trimming their beard. That's how serious it was in those days, and he excommunicated someone because they trimmed their beard in Baghdad in those days. Excuse me, I'm a little maybe hungover from Shabbos. But the truth is, I don't go out of my way to encourage people to have beards. I remember Moshe Weinberger, he would encourage certain people, yes, and certain people not. And he felt there's a time and a place for everything. So I would never make a blanket statement that a ger shouldn't grow a beard. But I also wouldn't make a blanket statement that he should. You're interested in Hasidus, there are a lot of people, Breslover Hasidim, who have no beards. I think Aryeh Rosenfeld was a big mashpia in Breslov. Either was clean shaven or or trimmed his beard. And we have Rabbi Rieti, who aligned as an Einikel from the Ben Ish Chai, and he's a Breslover Chassid, and he has a very small trimmed beard. I think in the previous video where we saw Father Kowalczyk, all his students with big beards, and he, not all of them, but he said, that he has an eschatological beard. The main thing I would say is if you daven in a shul where the Rav has a full beard, I feel no problem with it, or he has a pretty big beard. But if I don't think it's nice. I don't think it's derech eretz. Oh, it's cheaper in the other place, so I think I'm gonna. You know what? We will turn around here. Because it's not where to make a U-turn really. So make the U-turn here, and we'll go down a bit further down. Get a lower price on gas. So. And it's there is an idea now. This I'm taking from a different religion, but it's the same idea that we have in our religion. But this priest who, for example, he doesn't wear his cassock in the street. When he's teaching in the seminary, he wears his cassock. But and all the students have to wear a cassock. That's what's required in the seminary in the Orthodox Church. But then it was a whole issue with the students coming into the prison, and are they allowed to wear their cassock in the prison? And what was decided was if they're performing a ceremony, if they're leading a service, they could wear their cassock. And if not, they should not. Even though these are guys who, even when they go to the store, they wear their cassock. They go to Wegmans, they wear their cassock. And the priest wanted to teach them a lesson because he himself, he doesn't wear a cassock. Every day at work, and when he's out in the street, he doesn't even wear a collar. If he's going out with his wife, he just wear a regular polo shirt. He's not dressed like a priest. So, and he felt like his students were being fanatical, and he wanted to teach them not to be fanatical. And that when they're inside the prison, unless they're doing a service, they should not be wearing their vestments. And so too, here he was describing how in the Moscow Academy they were clean shaven and they wore suits and ties, and he was already an ordained priest, but he saw how it was in the academy and so forth, and the difference between the seminary and the academy and so forth. And why am I saying this? It's the same story by us in Lakewood, somewhere like that. There was such a saying that a bacher with a beard. Now I know you're a younger man, you're a balabas. It's different. But I'm just talking a bacher, meaning a bacher aufgewachsen in a frummer stieb. A bacher grew up in an Orthodox home. Perhaps even his father had a beard. But they said a bacher with a beard is like wearing a necktie with pajamas. There's a time and a place for everything. Now, when I was in yeshiva, I didn't cut my beard, but I wore a chassidish levush also, which not everyone was so happy with, and it was, to a certain extent, maybe it wasn't the right thing for me to do. I've heard people say that one of my teachers in yeshiva, I heard someone else quote him as saying that if I would have been Litvish, I would have been much more famous. Which I beg to differ. I think people like the exotic aspect of the Hasidic thing, but to this point, the Hasidic way is not so exotic like it used to be. And part of my thing is maybe insecurity. Meaning, I would say, I used to joke when I was the Rav in Richmond, there was another shul, more modern shul, with the Rav, a Talmud Chacham, very chashuv Talmud Chacham, really knew how to learn. He had a little beard, he didn't wear a hat. Before he worked there, he did wear a hat, it's just the shul didn't want him to wear a hat. And, although I think he wore a gartel sometimes, just to mix things up a bit. So it was funny, a gartel with no hat. Okay, I understand. But what I always said is, Rabbi so-and-so, he's a Talmud Chacham, he's really a Rav. Me, who am I? I have to dress up like a rabbi so people take me seriously. Because I don't deserve to be taken seriously. And he does deserve to be taken seriously, and he doesn't need all the externals, the hat and this and that. I was today by the Rimnitzer, and a modern boy asked me in Yiddish, when you write a kvittel, schreibt the mama's number to the tatas number, fill eines nicht kechoyle. And I answered him in English, and I kind of felt like saying, I pulled a fast one, and he thinks I'm the real deal, Oh, exit 119 was my exit, wasn't it? No, this is exit 119. All right, 118. The same thing Rabbi Weinberger said when I was at his house, and the Calvary Rebbe was there, and the Calvary Rebbe left, and all the Hasidim left, and Rabbi Weinberger said I should stay a little bit longer. And he said, you don't have to worry. It's just Kolakowski. This is when I was a Bocher. He says, Yitzchak Zev, they think you're a real Hasidic Yid, So they came out, and they were comfortable. So it's good. So, if you daven in a shul where it's common for people to have beards, even let's say the Rav has a full beard, and you're going to stick out like a sore thumb having a big beard, I don't think it's not necessary in this time and place. But on the other hand, if you're married and your wife wants to have a beard, for Shalom Bayis, it's good to have a beard. I can blame my wife. My wife said I have to wear white socks Shabbos. So if I wear white socks, you have to have a shtreimel and a bekisha and a long beard. It looks funny. You could have a shtreimel even with a trim beard with long pants. People do that. I know, it's frowned upon, but there is such a thing. It's not so weird. A bekisha, but also the same thing. I wouldn't recommend putting on a bekisha or anything if you're the only one in the shul. And maybe if the Rav in the shul wears a shtreimel and you want to wear a bekisha and a bent down hat, and maybe a necktie, then, and that looks really nice, Taka, something like that. But if you understand what I'm saying, you don't want to look different than everybody else unless you have a particular reason to do so. And it's it's something to think about. Is this the right way to approach things? See, here it's 2:39. I'm gonna get gas here. So, yeah, I can't tell you what to do, but you use common sense. Even 246 is worth it. Not to, use common sense. Don't be too ostentatious, and it's easy for people to do that, and easy to get lost, and it's easy to get obsessed with externalities, and I'm guilty of that. So I'm no one to tell you not to, because I'm someone, and I dress like a rebbe. I wear struckers and I wear a silver bekische, but part of it is this lachtos the ganze Zach. Like all right, so wear a silver bekische, and I don't wear Strymel Friday night. I wear Talis Friday night like a rebbe sometimes. Sometimes I wear the Strymel and the Zvolka, but part of it is I'm walking a mile in the dark in a rural area. I don't want to get hit by a car, so I'm not going to wear all black. So if I wear silver, gold, white, it stands out, So instead of wearing a reflector, it doesn't look so Shabbos-stick. This looks Shabbos-stick, So again, I'm no one to tell you this is how you should dress, this is how you should wear your haircut, this and that. The best thing is to follow the Rav there. He's okay with it, doesn't bother him, he's not threatened by it. Adarabba, I remember, growing up in Queens, and the Rav was very threatened by, I started to wear a beard and payas and a hat and the gartel and all these things, and it upset him very much. And I regret that. I should have, maybe, I don't know if I regret it, but like it's now I'm doing this, I do, but then like my friend the priest, I'll wear a T-shirt when I go to the monster movie convention or something. It's hard to figure out how to answer these things. The case by case basis. Follow your heart. Follow what, even if your Rav tells you not to, I can't say he's right. It's such a difficult question. So, but I think I gave you the tools to think on your own what to do. And a lot of people say you have to stick to one thing for a long time and not change back. It's not necessarily so. Obviously, if you're going to make an investment to wear Strymel, it's foolish to stop after a while, So also you grow a beard and payas, that's already, you're making a commitment, So I don't know. It's a very difficult question to answer, but I pray that God should give you the guidance to know the right way to do it and figure out what you want to do. God bless you. And the same goes for everybody, but I think the main thing is once you're married and it goes consistently, I don't like the idea of putting on a Strymel not having a long beard, unless, someone grew up in a Hasidic home, they became more modern, but then just to make their parents happy to wear Strymel Shabbos. Alright, that makes sense, You have to know what you're dealing with. I don't like to give answers on these things. You have to. It's like I remember I was talking to Baron Teitelbaum. It was Purim? Was it was Ace Rotzen? Should I stay living in White Lake? Should I move to Bloomingburg? Should I move to White Lake? Should I move to Monroe? He said, do whatever makes you happy. That's the best answer. Do what makes you happy. As long as you fear zich al pi Shulchan Aruch, just do what makes you happy. That's what's important. So you want to try growing a beard? Why not? See how it looks. I don't know. See what your wife says. See what your kids say. Is it going to embarrass your kids? I heard the story Rabbi Weinberg told. There was a kid, he wouldn't bring friends over to the house Shabbos because his father, just by the Shabbos table, wear a bekishe. He wouldn't wear it in public. By the Shabbos table, wear a bekishe, and the kid was embarrassed by it. Modern kid, modern father, just he wore a bekishe at the table. You can wear also a bathrobe just to keep your clothes clean, whatever, But have these things in mind too. How does it, like I remember Kaddish Waldman Zolgazon, he said he wouldn't put on a shtreimel because how's it going to affect Shidduchim with his kids? What does he need it for? You know? These are types of questions. Everything should be with a cheshbon, but also don't get too obsessed. There was a story Meir Kahana told someone, just be stupid, don't overthink things. Just do whatever. And the truth is, that's also part of it. God runs the world. Let God run your life. Whatever happens, happens. That's how it is. You grow a beard, you grow a beard, The Baba Sali had to daven that little beard should grow because he couldn't grow a beard, Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you later.